There's something I hear from so many people over 50, something that often gets brushed off as just another part of getting older. It's that little moment of hesitation when you stand up from your chair, or that split-second wobble when you're stepping off the curb. Maybe you've even had a close call yourself, a stumble that could have turned into a fall. And if you're like most of us, you probably thought, well, that was lucky. Better be more careful next time. But here's the thing, falls aren't just about luck. They're not inevitable, and they're certainly not something you have to accept as part of aging. In fact, there are simple, everyday habits that can make a huge difference in keeping you steady on your feet. And the best part? They don't require any fancy equipment or drastic lifestyle changes. That's why today, we're talking about 5 daily habits to avoid falls after 50. And trust me, most people skip number 3, which is a real shame because it's one of the most effective. So, let's dive in and start with the first habit, because this one sets the foundation for everything else. Habit number 1. Strengthen your legs, without even thinking about it. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Exercise? Really? But hear me out. This isn't about running marathons or lifting heavy weights. It's about small, intentional movements that add up over time. Think about how often you sit down and stand up throughout the day. Every time you do, you're giving your legs a little workout. But here's how to make it count even more. Try this. The next time you get up from your chair, pause for just a second before you start walking. Feel your legs supporting you. Then, take your first step slowly, really pressing through your heel. This tiny moment of mindfulness strengthens those muscles and improves your balance without any extra time or effort. And if you want to take it a step further, try sitting down and standing up without using your hands a few times a day. It's like a mini strength session hiding in plain sight. Habit number 2. Light up your space, especially at night. Here's a scenario you might recognize. It's late at night, and you need to get up for a glass of water or a quick trip to the bathroom. You don't want to turn on the bright overhead light and wake yourself up even more, so you shuffle through the dark, relying on memory to guide you. Sound familiar? But here's the problem. Our depth perception and night vision aren't what they used to be after 50. That dim hallway or the edge of the rug you've walked past 1,000 times can suddenly become a tripping hazard. The solution? Small, strategic lights. Plug in night lights along your path, a motion sensor light in the hallway, or even leaving a small lamp on in the bathroom can make all the difference. You don't need your home to look like a spotlight stage, just enough light to see clearly without straining. And here's a bonus tip. If you have stairs, put a strip of glow-in-the-dark tape on the edge of each step. It's an inexpensive trick that gives you an extra visual cue, especially in low light. It's funny. Sometimes the habits that help us the most are the ones we don't even realize we're neglecting. Like that third habit I mentioned earlier. It's something we all do every single day, but rarely think about in terms of preventing falls. And yet, when you start paying attention to it, you'll notice a difference almost immediately. But before we get to that, let's talk about habit number 3. Check your footwear. Seriously, right now. I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone with perfect posture, strong legs, and a well-lit home still take a tumble, all because of their shoes. And no, I'm not just talking about high heels, though those can be risky, too. The real culprits are often the shoes we think of as safe, slippers with worn-out soles, sandals that flop around, or even thick-soled sneakers that make it hard to feel the ground beneath you. Here's a quick test. Take off one of your shoes and hold it in your hand. Bend the sole. Does it fold easily, or does it have some firm support? Now, look at the tread. Is it smooth, or does it still have some grip? And finally, press your finger into the heel. Does it feel cushioned and snug, or loose and uneven? If your shoes are too flimsy, too slick, or too loose, they're not doing you any favors. The good news: you don't need expensive orthopedic shoes to stay steady. Just look for 3 things: a non-slip sole, a firm heel, and a secure fit, no sliding around inside the shoe. And if you love your slippers at home, consider swapping them for a pair with rubber soles. It's a tiny change that can save you from a big spill. Now, let's move on to habit number 4, the 2-second pause before you move. This one might sound too simple to make a difference, but stick with me. How many times have you stood up quickly because the phone rang, or turned around fast to answer someone calling your name? In those moments, your body hasn't fully adjusted to the movement. Your blood pressure might dip slightly, your balance might be off, and suddenly, you're grabbing the nearest chair to steady yourself. Here's the fix. Before you make any sudden move, standing up, turning, or even bending down, pause for just 2 seconds. Take a breath, feel your feet firmly on the ground, and then move. It gives your body time to adjust, and you'll be amazed at how much more in control you feel. Try it next time you get out of the car. Instead of swinging your legs out and standing right away, plant both feet, take that brief pause, and then rise. You'll feel the difference. And now, we're ready for the 5th and final habit, the one that ties everything together. Because staying steady isn't just about your body or your surroundings. It's about your mind, too. Final point and conclusion. When we talk about preventing falls, most of us immediately think about physical things, our shoes, our balance, making our home safer. But there's one crucial piece of the puzzle that often gets overlooked, and it's happening right between our ears. That brings us to our final, and perhaps most important habit. Habit number 5. Train your brain to stay present. Here's something fascinating. Many falls happen not because our bodies fail us, but because our minds are somewhere else entirely. Think about the last time you tripped. Chances are you were distracted, maybe worrying about an appointment, thinking about what to make for dinner, or even just lost in a memory. That mental distraction can be just as dangerous as a loose rug or poor lighting. Our brains are incredible at multitasking when we're younger, but as we age, that ability naturally declines a bit. And that's perfectly okay. What we need to do is work with this change rather than against it. Here's how. Start practicing what I call mindful moving. When you're walking from one room to another, try saying to yourself, "I'm walking to the kitchen now." Feel your feet connecting with the floor. Notice how your weight shifts from one foot to the other. It might feel silly at first, but this simple act of noticing keeps your brain engaged with your movements. Another great exercise is the pause and plan technique. Before you start any activity that requires balance, whether it's going downstairs, stepping off a curb, or reaching for something on a high shelf, stop for just a moment. Take a deep breath, look at what you're about to do, and then move with intention. This tiny pause can make all the difference. And here's a bonus tip that combines several of our habits. Try standing on one foot while brushing your teeth. Hold onto the counter if needed. It's a wonderful way to build balance while keeping your mind focused on the present moment. Plus, you're already at the sink twice a day. Might as well make it a mini training session. Now, let's take a quick moment to bring all these habits together. We strengthened our legs with simple daily movements. Made sure our spaces are well lit. Chose footwear that keeps us steady. Learned to pause before moving. And trained our brain to stay present. Remember, you don't need to implement all of these at once. Start with one that feels easiest to you, and when that becomes second nature, add another. Small steps lead to big changes. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these habits are you going to try first? Maybe you've already discovered some great fall prevention tips of your own? Share your thoughts so we can all learn from each other. If you found this helpful, Do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find this important information. And if you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you join our community where we share practical tips for living your best life after 50.